Well, we've lost your camera, Marilyn, if you can hear us. And we've lost your audio again. Okay.
Hello.
There you are. Well,
Okay, but I can't get the picture. Oh,
here we go. Hey.
now you feel old.
Oh, no, don't worry. There's always technical issues. I don't think we'll ever get used to Zoom.
We're good.
I said there's always technical issues, and I don't think that we will ever get used to using Zoom.
Okay.
It's almost like a testament to we have to work on getting in-person workshops going, and we are working towards that. So, but thank you for coming. Welcome to the Upcycling Workshop. I just hit the record button. Is that okay with you? Can you hear me there?
I can hear you.
Okay. I just hit record. Is that okay with you?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you, Marilyn.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome. Excellent. Okay, so just for record's sake, I just want to just do a quick intro here. So welcome to Mall of the Arts Presents workshop on Design Your Own Planter, delivered by Shorty's Upcycling Studio. And I just, in light of the mood this week, I want to put out there for anybody who watches along to please go to Indigenous Canada or Coursera.com and take the free course on Indigenous Canada. It just gives you a great insight on our true Canadian history. And so with no ado, we're really excited to do this workshop with you, Marilyn, today, because it's upcycling, which we believe is really good for our planet in using our resources. So with no ado, I'd like to introduce to Shorty, who runs Shorty's Upcycling Studio.
Okay. I'm just trying to get ready here.
No worries.
Lots of time. I'm trying to get the best picture. Just kidding. I'm trying to get the best counter to work off of here.
Maybe go over what she has for supplies.
Well, I'm going to show her a couple things. Okay, so Marilyn, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, so I'm not going to get into a super specific build. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some ideas through yourself if you would like, and then we'll build a couple things at the end. But I really don't have enough time to like make it super beautiful and all that by the end. I'll give you the basics, and then you can take it if you want to dress it up further or whatever.
Okay.
So first thing I'm going to show you is a couple different things that we did. One thing we did in the last workshop I did was we actually made an apron out of a shopping bag that's got pockets in the front where you can store whatever. Now, the reason I bring this up is just so if you want to use it for planting, keep dirt off the front of your outfit or whatever, or carry your tools while you're gardening, it would work great. So this is out of a shopping bag. And the nice part about these is a lot of the materials are water resistant, so they don't stain easily. They protect your clothes and stuff from mud and whatnot. But the reason I just pointed that out because it could be an idea to for the future for when you're doing planting or if you're repotting something or something like that. It's a handy thing. The other thing we did is something else you can do out of a shopping bag is cut the sides out of it. So this was a shopping bag, and I just cut the sides of it and used the handles. And if you
Yep.
carry like a heavy, you could carry a heavy bag of soil, something like that. It gives you nice
Right.
handles. You can put the bag in here, and then you can carry your bag of soil around a lot.
Right.
Really anything. You can use it for firewood if you're camping, whatever. But just as a nice, simple thing to do with a shopping bag, that would be a handy thing for that. Another thing I wanted to point out is because this is a planter workshop, a nice thing for starting seeds is an old egg cart.
Right.
If you want to start your seeds in this, another thing that works good is an old tea bag. Use your tea bag, and then rather than throw it out, you can use the tea bag to help start the seed. So you can put the tea bag in the egg carton, and you can put your seed in it. And then what you can do is you can actually take when it's time to plant it, you just pull off the sections, and you can actually just stick them right in the dirt.
Right.
Break down the way. Actually, the cardboard from the carton will actually help hold the moisture around your started plant for the first little while. Right? So it will actually help with the germination of the plant. So that's a really neat little thing to do with old egg cartons. It doesn't work with the styrofoam ones. Styrofoam ones won't break down to the ground, obviously. But for the cardboard ones, that's a really cool use for that. And the tea bag works good for helping to hold moisture as well. Give you a good start.
Shorty,
Yeah,
you said tea bags?
yeah, like a used tea bag, depending on some of the really like a basic, just a generic old tea bag.
Right.
I'm not too sure on like if you had like herbal or fruit tea.
Right.
I'd be a little concerned about the acidity of those as to whether it would be okay for the seed. But if you're having just like a generic little cup of like black tea, the used tea bag from the black tea will work for starting the seed. It helps. The tea actually helps hold the moisture around the seed. The tea bag will stay a lot damper, a lot longer than say like dirt.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other thing you can do with these is you can set like the milk carton. You could set it in, say, for instance, on an old cookie sheet or a plastic tray of any kind, and then you don't actually have to pour water on the seed. You can just pour it in the bottom of the tray, and the egg carton will soak up the moisture and the seed.
Right.
Water.
Right. Right.
So that's the nice part about the milk carton too, is the cardboard actually wicks moisture. And it self-waters. Just another quick idea. I brought this one just as a sample. I know I'm going to set milk jugs, so I don't expect you to have one of these handy. But I just wanted to point out a jug like this, or a juice jug similar, it doesn't have to be perfect, but something like this will make a nice, like if you don't have to have or breaks or whatever, if you put holes in the top of these, they make a really cool watering jug. Especially for like, yeah, my kids love them. You put some holes in it, and it doesn't pour too much water because when you pour it, it actually creates a bit of a vacuum as it pours, so it doesn't flow super fast and drunk. But for kids, it's great. You just poke some holes in the cap. You pour a certain amount, and then it creates a bit of a suction in the jug, and then you have to tip it back up and start it over.
I'm just seeing if we can zoom it. I'm just seeing if we can zoom the camera.
See.
Yeah, so you look closer.
Oh,
I can see what you're doing.
You can do this with a milk jug too. The only thing with a smaller milk jug would be better. A big milk jug, actually, I guess it would work okay with milk. It's just harder for kids to manage. This type of jug is fairly stiff on the sides, so it's really easier for kids to handle. Milk jug, a full milk jug is pretty cumbersome for a little person. You can use a 1 liter though. Okay, another thing. So, first thing, just to start off simple. Nice thing you can do with a milk jug like this is cut the bottom off. You can actually go through that. If you have a limited number of milk jugs, you just have one to build a planter with, then you don't have to do this part. I'm just going to do this one to show you another possible idea with milk jug. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom off. Up about, just have to take the bottom off it. So even if you just cut the bottom off it, I'm going to cut mine up about 2 inches or so. But if you just take the bottom off, then what you can do with this.
Sorry to interrupt. Marilyn, can you see okay?
I can see, it's just having a hard time hearing him.
Oh, okay.
But okay, I got it. Cut the bottom off.
Yeah, you don't have
Yep.
to, if you have only one milk jug though, you have a couple or just one?
I got one.
Okay. Did you already?
Oh, actually,
Hey?
I got one plus I got a 4 liter and a 2 liter.
Oh, okay. Okay. Don't cut it for this one just yet. I'm just showing you another idea for this.
Mine's not straight.
That's okay.
That's okay?
Marilyn, just hold off on the cutting, he said. Don't
Oh.
cut it as
I
of
know,
yet.
because you have a little, this is just another idea. This isn't your planter per se.
It's just an idea, just not the planter. We should cut
Oh, okay.
I wonder if we
That's fine.
So what this is you can take the top part of this and you can actually put it, so once you started your plant, say you started your plant in your little egg carton or whatever, the next thing you can use one of these for is you can actually use this almost like a miniature greenhouse. So once you start your plant in the ground, you can actually use the bottom as a secondary, once it grows a little bit bigger than the egg carton, you could put it in this as a secondary plant. But the main part would be this piece, the top piece. If you take this and set it over top of your started plant, like that, it almost creates a little greenhouse for your plant, your garden. So it'll actually get condensation on the top of it. And then you can pour water down in through the hole in the top, and it gets enough fresh air that it will give your plant a good root start, and it works as a small greenhouse. So you just set this over top, and it'll help protect your plant until it's good and strong. And too big, like once it gets big enough that this doesn't cover it anymore, then it's a good time to remove it. But up until that point, it makes for a good little mini greenhouse for individual plants that you want to protect and give them a good solid start. So you just cut the bottom off, set it over top of the plant, push it down into the soil just a little bit, and then you can pour water down through the top, through the hole, take the cap off, and just add water. Leave the cap off though, so it gets some airflow in there, so you don't get like mold or anything like that. But it still will, the moisture will condensate on the side of this and just continually keep water in the plant for you. So that's another good thing you can do with a milk jug like that. Nice simple thing. Another thing you can do is Actually, if you put it like that, if you plant, if you want, what you can do is you can hang it upside down as a hanging plant. So you take the bottom, leave the cap out still. And what you do is you cut the bottom off, fill it full of soil. But what you could do first is if you get a started tomato plant, so a plant already started from like the greenhouse or whatever, and you stick it through the hole. So take this beforehand and take your tomato plant and feed it through the hole. So you have to get it when it's fairly small, and feed it through the hole, and then turn it upside down and put potting soil in on top of it. And then you can, what we'll do is we'll actually, I'll make one of these a little bit for you. So picture your tomato plant hanging down here this way, with soil in on top of it. And then what you can do is you can take a hole punch or whatever you have. I'm gonna use a hole punch just because it makes it a little bit easier. There's the container that says, I think there's mom says on top of it. I'm looking for the black hole punch. This one's just a tiny, tiny hole. I think it might be in that blue bag. Anyways, I can use a there. Found it. Couldn't find my hole punch. Okay, so I'm gonna punch a hole, one on each corner. So where the corners are. I'm just gonna punch 4 holes in it like that. And then you can use string or you can use twine. And basically what you want to do is cut yourself about, you want to make sure it hangs decent. So you have like a 2-foot section, you'll need 2 pieces of that, 2 feet long. So this way. Demonstration. I just cut myself 2 pieces about 2 feet long. I'm just gonna feed them into the holes I just punched. And then you can either tie a knot on the inside so they hold into the holes.
Have any of these supplies kicking around, Marilyn? Do you have any twine or anything like that?
Well, this is just a.
I know it's a
She
demonstration.
doesn't have to make it.
Yeah, you don't have, he's just showing you ideas right now. Oh, she does. Look at her go. So it's like, if you want to do that,
If
then
you want to make a hanging one, you could do it this way if you want. You can work along with me if you want to do that.
Well, he's just going to give you a couple of ideas and then you can decide. Since it's just you, you decide which one we go with.
Then the nice part about the milk jugs too is if you have like a acrylic paint, like just like the little paints like these, you can actually paint these pretty decent. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie a knot at the top for a loop. Okay, so you would end up with something like this, right? See that?
You see that, Marilyn? I'm not sure. Oh, there you are. I think that we had a glitch. Okay.
So that's kind of like what you'll end up with. Can you see that okay? Okay, so then you have your soil in here. You could use this, so you could do it with the tomato plant out the bottom, like a hanging tomato plant. Or you can use it like a hanging planter as well and just put your plants in the top. But you do need to either put holes in the lid or leave the lid off. So when you put your soil in it, if you use it as a hanging plant, you would have to put, say, like a paper towel or something at the bottom just to keep your soil from falling out until it gets started. But you can use it, but you need to leave the lid off the bottom so it has drainage. Otherwise, it will get too wet. But there is that. So that's a hanging version, like that. Now, I've got, so you said you had a 2-liter one? Marilyn? You said you had a 2-liter? Oh, yes, okay. Okay, so we're gonna do with the 2-liter ones. The nice part with the 2-liter ones is you can make, if you made 2 or 3 planters or more, you can make, really the sky's the limit. But the nice part with these is you could actually take in the handle on the back. So what we'll do is we'll cut an opening in the front side opposite the handle. And what you can do is you can actually use the handle, and if you want to run, well, depending on the length of what you have, but if you have like an old broomstick or a piece of wood that fits through the handle, you could actually hang a series of these on a rod. So if you hung a rod, say like a curtain rod or anything, yeah, you could hang them. You could hang a bunch of them along and plant them as you see fit. So we'll actually make a quick planter out of these. So if you wanna join along here, we'll do just a quick. I think I'm gonna leave the opening on the top. So I'm gonna leave that there because it adds a little bit of strength to where the handle actually joins up. So if I was to cut this out, it would make the handle weak. So where it hangs, it would make it fairly weak, right? So I'm just gonna take a utility knife. What I'll do is I'll draw first what I'm gonna cut, and that way you can kind of see where I'm gonna cut before you cut yours. Okay, so Andrea, can you hold this up to the camera so you can see a little bit better? So I kind of brought the line down, it's probably just above halfway. So I don't know what kind of, if you've still got the label on your milk jug, if it's the same kind. Yeah, so if you come across right where the pink ends at the bottom, yep, that should be a good height because it still gives you some soil depth in here and doesn't weaken it too much. And I kind of went around, I followed, there's kind of a line in the body of the milk jug. So I kind of went there and then across right in front of the nozzle. And then down there's a fold, I don't know what to call it, like a raised fold in the jug body. And that makes it a nice line to follow when you're cutting. But it's easier if you draw it out ahead of time and then you have something. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one to draw it and you can see kind of where, then you can double check your line if you want to change it. Okay. Just be careful too when you're cutting these, the knife tends to wander. Don't want you to lose any fingers.
Or nails.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how I cut mine. Right there. So I cut mine kind of like that. Yeah, that'll work, yep. And then what you would do is you would put your soil in the bottom part. Now, the other thing I would recommend is I would poke, especially if it's outside, I would poke some holes in the bottom of this because you don't want your water to get trapped in there, get musty and moldy. It'll make the soil mold on you and it'd be hard on your plant. So you have to have some kind of drainage in the bottom. But yeah, fill your soil up to about about a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch down from the inside edge. So once you put the soil up, and then like I said before, you can hang these from the handle, and there's enough strength that they'll hold up with. Yeah. And if you have like I said, if you have like an old broomstick or if you have an old broomstick or a curtain rod or something like that, you can run a bunch of these. You can put like as many as along in a nice row, right? And hang them off your fence, or if you've got between two trees, or depending on how your setup is. You can use these in a series, and then you can even do multiple rows. So if you had a row of these up here, then you could make some more and put them down below that of a different kind of plant. They make a really cool. You can lay them out however you want, really. But yeah, it's a lot of fun too. It would be a lot of fun with like kids or something like that if you want to plant some bean plants or peas. Hanging peas would be really nice in these, where they kind of hang down. Oh yeah, nice.
Cool.
Yeah, they look really good along that back fence. But yeah, that looks beautiful.
We got lots of room to work with there, Marilyn.
Yeah.
Tons.
Beautiful. But yeah, it would be really nice. Maybe it would be like hanging peas or something. Yeah.
Color it up with the
Okay. Yeah, and then like I said before, if you want to decorate these however you want. You can use acrylic paint on these, sticks nicely to the milk jugs. Or if you want to get your glue gun out, you want to fire on some ribbons or beads or whatever you want to decorate it with. Or if you can paint flowers on them, or yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do with them. Just depending on, yes, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so that's that one. Now, the 4-liter jugs would be best hung like this. 2-liter jugs, probably like this by the handle. A 4-liter jug, if you hang it more like this, it tends to get floppy and wobbly. If you hang it upside down like this, there's enough shape in the bottom that it'll hold its shape better. Doesn't want to cave in as much. But we will make one out of a 4-liter that you can sit on the ground. So it can sit on a step or a stool or wherever you want to put it. You can use a 4-liter jug and make, basically what we're going to do is make a larger version of this type of cut. So it'll be a similar type of cut on the larger one. And then I'll show you how we can decorate it up a little bit to make it look kind of cool. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw out my cut. So I'm going to draw it out somewhat similar to how we did the other one. Put my sketching skills to the test here.
He might not be the caliber of Billy Blacksmith when it comes to sketching.
Yeah,
Marilyn.
Not even close. I was watching what he was doing with his pen work, and I was thinking I would have to throw so many of those out. Okay, so that's kind of how I drew it out. If you can kind of see that. And again, it's on the opposite side of the handle. So the handle is completely on the back of where the hole is. So that's the only important part. If your hole is a little bigger, a little smaller, that part doesn't matter. The important part is that you keep that handle on the opposite side of the hole. So my hole is here, my handle's here.
Let her see this.
Okay.
No, the front. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to cut that out. That's what we're going to do. I just needed a musical interlude.
I know, I was like, keep my music.
Yeah. Maybe Jeopardy. Okay, so there's the cut. There. Same. Yeah, pretty near identical. Yeah, exactly. It's pretty much identical to the small one. Same cut, same idea. Put soil in about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch below your lip, down here. And then same thing again. You probably want to punch drain holes in the bottom. The other thing you could do is, if you don't want to put drain holes, you could put a little bit of gravel, like rock, in the bottom before you put your soil in, just to keep. So it'll be like a little spot for the water to sit in where it can't get actually to the soil if it doesn't have to. And then your plant's roots will eventually get down in there. Okay, so now this one I'm actually going to decorate a little bit. I don't know. Do you have any markers or paints with you there, Marilyn? You do? Okay, so I'm going to draw mine out a little bit ahead of time because I'm not the greatest freehand person. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the back of this and make a face on it. So this is going to be like our nose. And then we're going to put eyes here. So whatever shape of eyes you want to make, and then you can put a smiley face or put some kind of a face on it. If I had more time, I'm gonna run out of time for like paint to dry and stuff like that. So it's gonna be hard for me to do a full process. But what I would do normally is whatever color I wanted this to be, I would paint it completely one color first, and then let that dry, and then I would put my face on. But today I don't have time to paint it completely and let that dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave mine the normal milk jug color, but I'm going to paint my eyes on here, and I'm going to paint somewhat of a nose and maybe a mouth. But I would normally put a base color on it first. But this time we don't have time for that because I can't put wet paint on top of wet paint. So I'm just going to draw out my eyes first on this. I don't know, Andrea, what kind of eyes do we want today? Okay. Yeah, what kind of eyes do we want? Okay. Big egg eyes.
Yes.
Oh. The other thing you can do is if you want to do a practice run with drawing it out until you're happy with it, you could use dry erase markers or like kids markers. Kids markers don't show up as well, but a dry erase marker, you can draw it out. If it doesn't work for you, you can wipe it off and try again. Yep, perfect. So I'm going to do kind of a goofy face on mine. Something silly. Make my kids laugh. Okay. Okay. Now, once you got it drawn out, I've got a bit of a face on mine. And then what we'll do is we'll paint it. So, you give me a cup of water so I can dip my brush. I'm going to do my nose first. I'm going to do it. And a paper towel. I've already painted myself.
Ah, right on. Sketchbook from practice, eh? Mm.
That's a good one.
Cute.
I love the big smile. What should I do his nose? What color should I do his nose? How you doing, Marilyn? Ah, beautiful.
Oh, you guys picked the same colors. Right on. System whereby when you mute, when you're on the telephone call, that it plays music. Oh.
Brown nose. Okay. How did you make out, Marilyn? Perfect. I like the hair. I like the hair. Good job. Okay, so the nice part with these is, so you can plant your plant, basically grow out of this part of the back. So depending on what type of plant you put in here, it may even add the effect of having hair. So like depending on what plant comes out of here, it can kind of look like the hair on the back of it. Yeah. So these would be fun actually to do with kids, where you can do different faces, different moods, different whatever. It would be fun. So yeah, build your own little tribe. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah. So there you go. So there's that one. Now, another thing I wanted to cover was, so we've gone over a hanging planter idea. We've gone over the 1 meter hanging planters, however we wanted to do those, right? And you can paint those however you want to. You can do them in multiple nice, pretty colors, or yeah, however you wanted to do them up. So we've got that, and then we've got these ones that can sit on different surfaces and grow your plants out of the back. I'm going to cover one more idea for a hanging planter. I put my paints out of the way. Okay. Not right now. Okay, so I've got just a fabric shopping bag. It's important that it's the fabric type and not like the plasticky Safeway bags. So not this type. Yeah, more of a fabric type. The nice part with these is they'll maintain a little bit of moisture, but they'll still wick it out. So eventually, like the water will be able to escape from them, but they will hold a certain amount of moisture. Now, what you can do with these is, I'm still learning to be better at sewing, but I'm not great at it. So just for the sake of this, what I did is I took, I'll take a glue gun. What you do is fold it in half, if it's a bigger one. Fold it in half, and if you have a sewing machine or you hand stitch, whatever, you can run a seam right down the middle of this. So you create 2 pockets basically in it. Okay? And what that does is it makes two soil containers. So what you can do is you can put soil in them eventually. Okay, so see what I did there? So it's folded in half so that the handles are at the top.
Are you asking a question there, Marilyn?
So,
I can't hear you because you're on mute. I think. Oh, no, you're still on mute.
Okay, do I open the bottom
I
up or
can't hear
just,
you.
yeah.
do I,
Okay.
can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Well, I still can't hear
Yeah,
you.
we can't hear
That's
you.
okay.
Oh, okay.
We can work through it.
Do you understand what she's saying?
No.
Can you hear me now?
Just a second. She's trying something here to see if we can get it to work.
I think we're both
Did it
trying at the
work?
same time. No, it still says mute.
Okay.
Just one more time. Okay, I've asked to unmute you. I've asked for you to unmute.
Can we talk now? Can I hear you?
Can you hear me now?
Did I plug something out when I
No,
moved
I don't
this?
think it's. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
No, I really watched the cords as I moved it.
Anyways,
Okay.
we'll work with hand gestures.
See seam?
Yep.
So seams
So you can put a seam right down the middle. The main, yeah.
outside?
Yeah.
On the outside.
So like this. So like here's my handles.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fold it in half. So
Yep.
fold it in half. And then run a seam down here.
Yep.
Reason being is because if you put too much soil in a whole open bag, it'll rip and you won't be able to hold it up properly. It's got to have something to strengthen it. So you have to make two smaller compartments. So we made turn one bag into two smaller compartments. So basically like this, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what I did is I just ran a bead of glue down the inside of my hot glue gun. But you're probably better at sewing than I am, so the best thing would probably be to sew it. Oh, I can hear
there we
you.
go. We got sound and we got a sewing machine.
Awesome.
Right on.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to, I could give you a couple minutes if you want to run a stitch down the center, or do you want to do that at a later time?
Did you want to, we can hear you now, Marilyn. Did you want to put a seam down the middle right now with your sewing machine? No.
She
okay.
can't hear us.
Oh, she can't hear us. Oh, okay.
I can't hear you.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Well, that is the strangest thing.
Can you hear me now?
Some kind of setting.
Can't do this.
Oh,
Can you hear us?
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can change it to say the system.
Her sound was good there for a second.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
I still can't hear you.
You still can't hear us?
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, speak.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, we're good. We're good.
Awesome. Technology, eh? Who thought of it?
Okay, we're back in business.
We're back.
Yeah. Now what you can do with these is, I don't know, do you want to take a couple minutes and run a seam down the bag you have?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Okay, wait.
Yep. What? So this one's kind of like the last. Awesome. Perfect job. Good job. Okay, so now we've got 2 pockets in our bag. Now, what you can do is take, where is scissors? I'll put that over there for you to be different. Okay, so I'm gonna take a pair of scissors. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut, if you lay it out flat, on the sides, just cut. I'll do one and then you can see what I'm kind of doing here. So I'm just gonna cut. Where you can see that good. So just like a little bird's mouth, think of like a bird's mouth on the side, but keep kind of an upward point to it. Yeah, like that. So then what happens is when you put the soil in it, this can kind of tip out. So it can kind of open up a bit, but the soil can't escape out of the hole. And then when you can start your plants inside that mouth. So if you put like,
Okay.
so like a hanging tomato plant, these work great for that. So you can put a couple of tomato plants.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You gotta make sure that that mouth is pointed up, exactly like you cut it. Otherwise, your soil will fall out of that hole. But that creates a nice little
perfect.
pocket. Yeah, yeah, that's perfect. Now, what you can do is you can put random. So you can do. I wouldn't go too close to the bottom. I would leave probably 4 inches up from the bottom. And then maybe 2 or 3 on each side of the cut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, that's a really pretty bag you've got too there. Well, look at, once the plant gets going pretty big, you shouldn't, depending on how it grows, you won't see too much of the bag afterwards because it kind of come out the sides. Hanging tomato plants can get fairly big. Like once you get your tomato plant going, depending on what kind it is. So I'm just going to cut a couple. So. Wish I had something to stick in there to just pretend to play. Okay, so I just put a few cuts on the.
Oh, yeah.
So a row up the side. You could put some on the front, like one on the front, one on the back too, if you wanted to.
Oh, yeah.
And then what you do is you fill it up with soil and plant your tomato plants in the pockets, or in the little holes. So they would come out the side, and then you can just hang this up, and the tomato plant will actually start to hang nicely down the side. Yep. Yeah, that will work good.
Yep.
And you may want to put. I probably wouldn't hurt to put one on the front, one on the back, depending on where it hangs. I mean, you could hang it flat against a wall too, like a tow hook or something like that, or depending on what you've got hanging off of. So you could hang it free, like out in like the whole thing hanging out, or you could hang it flat against the wall. If you hang it flat against the wall, you could cut some V's on the face side as well. to move some plants out the front. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Marilyn? Or am I
Yeah, it makes, yes, yeah.
Okay. And it depends on what plants you're putting in this too. Like if you want to put flowers in it or a hanging type of plant, depending on how big they get when they grow, you can add, like you could put some extra holes in it, depending on whether it's like more of a coverage type plant or more of it light, right? Like depending on what you put in it, you could add holes to these. These bags are pretty durable. The only thing you might want to do is you might want to take your sewing machine and reinforce where the handles actually,
Yeah.
where the handles meet the bag. You may want to put some extra stitching. Yeah. You may want to put some extra stitching in there just to make sure.
Right.
So that's that. I'm trying to think. Okay. Now the other thing, I don't know if you've got access to them, but you can do that with like a smaller bag too. So if you had like just a small bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to. You could even have it so it just rolls out the top of the bag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you could use
Right.
this for like a hanging plant or like
Right.
on the
Yeah.
side of the bag. The big
Yep.
bags though, you pretty well have to stitch the center of them for them to be
The same,
Yeah.
the
And
same down
yeah.
the center.
Yeah. But a smaller bag, like a small bag like this, something like that, as long as it's that fabric type, it shouldn't,
Yep.
you shouldn't need to reinforce the middle of that.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Okay. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule because you're the only student, and so it's a little easier to get ahead.
That's okay. That's okay.
But what I wanted to show you, I'll show you a couple more things. These work really good for making planters out of, like the juice cartons.
Okay.
And you cut them and paint them however you want. They don't hold up as well outside. So like if you leave them outside for any length of time,
Oh,
they're kind of, they might last the season. But as far as like long term, probably not. Now, if you're using them inside for like a, a project for kids or something like that, they make a good project for that. Little planters for inside the house. Just cut them in half, or you can cut them this way lengthwise.
oh, yeah, like a boat. Yeah.
Yeah, so they work good for that. Pop bottles. You can cut openings in a pop bottle.
Right.
Usually like 3 sides, 3 holes. So you
Yep.
have like, I'll actually show you that one real quick. Take the label off. But I know I didn't ask you for pop bottle material or anything like that. This is kind of, if we had had more people, I probably wouldn't have had time to do this, but I'll just show you this real quick so you kind of keep it in the back of your mind in case you want to try it someday. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 3 windows around the pop-up. May not be super precise, but
Okay. You want to go sleep time? You want to go outside? Okay. Go outside. Wanna get down? Go down? Go down now? Good girl. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what I did is I cut there's a hole right here, a hole right here, and a hole right here. So there's 3 holes. And I left this, I don't know if you can see that. Andrea,
Yeah. Yeah.
can you see that? There's a strip of the bottle that's left.
Yeah.
So there's like 3 upright pieces.
Yeah.
Left. Kind of see.
Like about
Yep.
that.
So the top still stays good
Yep.
and strong and attached. So then what you
Yep.
would do is fill this with soil in the bottom. And then there's a couple different things you could do with the top. You can tie twine around the top and make a loop to hang it by. Or you could take the
Yep.
cap. I don't have the cap for this one. You could take the cap and put a hole in the cap and run your string through the hole and tie a knot in
Right.
and hang it like that. So you
Right.
put the cap back on. That would probably be how I would do it.
Better. Better.
And then it would leave like a little loop of twine up over the top, and then
Right.
you can hang it. And the same thing with this. You can paint it however you want. These ones actually kind of look cool because if you painted say the bottom and you left the top kind of this green, clear green, it would look pretty cool.
Yeah. Perfect.
But yeah, that's another thing you could do with a pop bottle. That actually works kind of. You could use this like a bird feeder too if you wanted to.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You could cut it just a little bit lower, and you could poke sticks through it so the birds had a perch.
Oh yeah. 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 It's like
stick
straight
through
through,
here and a stick
like
through
that.
here,
like
Yep.
that.
and then
Okay.
the birds could use it for a bird feeder as well.
Little birds.
Yes, little birds. But, yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank
Yep.
you so much. I learned a lot.
Oh, you're
I
welcome.
always wanted to do the material
Yep.
with the plants inside, but I
Yep.
never even considered using shopping bags.
Yeah. The nice part.
I
with-
always,
the nice part with the shopping bags is like they're made to take weight, like you're carrying groceries and all kinds of stuff in them, right?
yeah.
And the fabric ones, they actually wick the moisture nicely, right? Whereas
Yeah.
the plastic ones not so much, but the fabric ones work really good.
But it would look really nice hanging off the fence. Like if you
Yeah,
did a whole,
yeah.
like across the fence, maybe some petunias and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. The other
Does
ones,
it-
and you can get some of them that actually look really nice. Like they're pretty nice to look at. Like
Oh yeah, the plastic ones.
yeah, like even the ones like
Oh yeah. I got
some
some.
of those look really good, right? And they have
Would you
some-
do the same? Would you do the same as the way you did with the cloth one? Put the slants on the side and then do the same thing.
Yeah, the only thing with these ones is make sure you put some drainage in the bottom of it,
Oh yeah.
so it doesn't fill up with water on you.
Right.
But the fabric ones, they'll leak out, so they'll be fine, and they'll just you know, they hold just enough moisture, but not enough to be a problem, like if it rained.
Right.
Whereas this type, they would actually fill up with water and turn the soil to mud. It would just be a bad scene.
Right, right.
But yeah,
Yeah, I'll try the milk jug ones with my grandson. We'll do some of that when we get down there.
yeah, that's super fun. Like I got 3 kids. My oldest is 13, and my youngest is 4. And yeah, they good programs for them.
Lots of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, well, thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you so
for
much.
joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, and thank you for being such a good student.
Thank you,
Okay, you
Mary.
take care.
We
Enjoy the
appreciate
rest
of
you.
your day.
Have an awesome weekend.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.